Today, we have an amazing guest in live stream with Dr. Alex Plains. His name is Paul Alex. He will be sharing so much wisdom and knowledge from his foundation to his belief system to the fact that there were doubters in his life, but he believed in himself. He has gone from building a company from zero to generating over $25 million and much more potential to go. You guys got to check out this episode.
I didn't think I would ever do a fucking podcast. I didn't ever imagine doing that. It made me realize that my purpose is to help others reach the goals and reach their full capacity. And if I can impact somebody's life, that is bigger than money. That is bigger than anything else.
Welcome to Livestream. I'm your host, Dr. Alex Plains, with my co-host, Jeremy Applegate, where we teach you how to stream your life. Today, we have a guest that just actually got back from Africa, originally from California, has a house in Miami, living the big dream, living the big life. I can't be any more happy to have Mr. Paul Alex, former corporate America, detective, and a millionaire entrepreneur. Welcome, Alex.
Hey, how's it going, brother?
Good. He is the founder of ATMtogether.com, merchantautomation.com, and he's generated over $25 million of revenue for his company, and he's 36 years old. The American dream right there.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
The American dream, and drop the mic on that, right?
Yes, amazing. So tell us a little bit about how your journey, where you went from working in corporate. I have a corporate America background. I started in Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines in sales.
Love that.
Then I went to dental school, and the rest is history. But it's very interesting. You went from corporate America, decided to become a cop, a detective. Actually, my brother-in-law is a detective for the Broward County Sheriff's Department. So he does homicide investigations. So he has a lot of stories to share. So tell our listeners what made you go through this journey and make the change, other than when your girlfriend told you that she was dumping you because you're not going to make enough money as an entrepreneur.
Oh man, the stories, man. The stories. That's bad memories right there, brother. No, but essentially, guys, like I always tell everybody that I lived like 3 lives. So at the age of 21, I didn't really know what to do. I was in college. I come from an immigrant family where essentially my mom's from Peru, I was from Mexico. Old school American dream. What I always like to say is work hard, go ahead and buy the house,
yes.
Get a good job, and then have a family, and that's it. You know, that you live your life.
Exactly.
You get old, and you probably take a vacation once or twice a year. And with me, I was just like,
there's something else out there.
There has to be more than that.
Yes.
So I didn't really have a direction, man. Like I said, I've been taught by I love my parents that just work hard. Just work hard. And that's what they would always push in my head.
And staying humble, right?
Yeah, and stay humble. And that's what I did since the age of 15 and a half. But at the age of 21, I was in college, community college, got my business administration associate's degree. And then I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to transfer. Mom, I'm not going to transfer. I don't want you to pay for college. Okay. I was just like, I'm my own man. I'm going to go ahead and just get a job, which I did. I worked for a company called Ecolab. And Ecolab, Ecolab at that time, it was a multi-million-dollar chemical company, cleaning chemical company. We're talking about like they would service all the hospitals, the restaurants, hotels. And I started off as a glorified dish machine repairman. Okay. But I was at 21, almost my own person. Like, dude, I got my first paycheck. I learned soft skills. I learned sales. And dude, I could tell you something like it just taught me the fundamentals of customer service. And that was huge for the next phase of my life. So at the age of 26, I had an ex-girlfriend. We were together for roughly 7 years at that time. And she had a cousin who was a sergeant of police in San Francisco. Okay. And I remember one day I was like, babe, I don't know. I developed in sales. I'm a district sales manager. I have a team under me. I'm making 6 figures. I have a nice little condo at Emeryville at that time, which is near Oakland. And I don't know. I don't feel fulfillment. I'm not happy. And she's like, why don't you just become a cop? And I was like, that's interesting. Should I be a cop? And I talked to her cousin. Cousin's like, dude, yeah, you're hella charismatic. Why not? Like, you'll provide customer service. Like, it'll be pretty sweet. You'll like it. And at that time, man, I did not know what I was getting myself into, to be honest. I was 26.
Joined the academy.
Dude, I joined the academy. At that time when I was going through the process, it was like 1,500 people that applied to be a cop. But at that time, you got to think about it like this. Like, they had a sign on the freeway. I'll never forget this. The sign on the freeway said, become an Oakland police officer. Get paid $100,000. And that's very appealing for a lot of people. You got to think about it. This is back in 2013, 2014, right? And so many people were like, dude,
you got to sign up.
You got to sign up. You got to do it.
Yep.
So then I remember there was like 1,600 people to do the physical agility test, man.
Wow.
And it was to get a seat in a 60-person academy class. So after trying several times, brother, I did one thing that I always tell people that's looking to get into law enforcement to do is make sure, number one, that you do your due diligence in the city you're trying to actually apply for.
Okay.
But then number two is to actually do some community service. Why? Because it will actually show that you're there for the people.
Correct.
And that's what I did. Yeah. I took a month off of work, bro, and paid vacation. Literally went to the food bank, did a community service, served the actual people that the volunteer managers, the directors, they wrote letters for me, bro. And that's what got me in.
Love it.
That's
amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. And that's so simple. Think about that.
Who gave you that idea to think outside the box like that?
Brother, that was something, I guess, that now, at the age of 36, I can really look back and say, I would think outside the box. That was me. And it goes more into what I'm going to be talking about, later on this podcast, is that I'm more of a visionary guy.
Sure.
I'm a visionary guy. I'm a self-starter. I love doing that. But I am controlled chaos. This is why
I think that just goes with the territory, doesn't it?
Man, I'm a visionary guy, and like I said, I always start little fires.
Yes.
And then I have to hire people
to put it all together. I'm the same exact way.
Yes.
I would not disagree with that.
No, I have to hire smarter people than me to run the show behind the scenes. But it takes a tribe.
Sure. Yep.
And that's the way it goes when you start a business.
Exactly.
Right? Is you have to have a tribe. You have to have the right people in your corner to push you and to hold you up. And even right now, we're doing the podcast. We have the experts behind the scenes taking care of business while making us look good, right?
That's right.
While we're doing our thing here.
That's right.
But that's just the way it is. You need an entire team to make it happen. So to fast forward, man, law enforcement, 7 years, Oakland. Within 2 years, got voluntold to go into investigations. Got into specialized units, you could say gangs. Eventually got into a what I like to call 21 Jump Street unit. And essentially, it's just like they pulled me out from the department. And they were like, all right, dude, you're perfect. You're Hispanic. You speak Spanish. You're about to be a narcotics detective. And I'm like, whoa. All right, let's go. Show up, man, and essentially I was the only officer from my department to join this task force. And this task force was a complete undercover unit where they were tasked to take down some of the biggest cartel members in California, essentially like trafficking narcotics from all the way from Mexico to freaking...
The whole process.
Yeah, the whole process. It was insane, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
So spent about 3 years there. And towards the end of that 3 years, I was coming up around my 5th to 6th year. And that's when I was just like, damn, I am working so much.
How many hours were you putting in a week?
Dude, I was easily putting anywhere between 80 to 100 hours a week.
Wow.
Jeez.
Yeah. And at that time, I think we were talking about like getting older and all that stuff. But I feel it right now. Like I go to sleep by 8, man. But back then, it was limitless. It was limitless. I had so much energy.
You were just on the go the whole time.
Put me in the game, coach.
Yeah. And it's just because what I learned, especially in life, when you're passionate about doing something, okay, no matter what it is, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not a job.
It's not a job. And to me, that's what it was. I loved investigation. I loved talking to people. I loved being like a case agent, actually presenting in front of like my peers and my supervisors and all that. That's why I really enjoyed that job. And eventually, what ended up happening was that fulfillment left. And the reason why is because I was doing it so much.
Okay.
Doing it so much. Doing it so much.
You got fatigued.
I got fatigued, man. I
Burnt out.
I got burnt out.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the critical incident that happened that basically changed my entire life. Around, I'm going to say 2020, okay? My biological dad passed away. My mom, she ended up getting a mini stroke, okay? Wow. And then my stepfather, he ended up getting on dialysis.
Oh, wow.
All in 1 year.
All one
During
year.
COVID.
All 1 year during COVID, which
Dang.
is the scariest time you could think about, because who are the people getting affected mainly by COVID? It was kids and
Elderly.
senior citizens.
Geriatrics.
Yeah, man. So it was scary times. And, you know, for us, thank goodness, you know, we're healthy and all that, but it hit me hard. It hit me hard. And the thing that hit me hard was the fact that I had to still go to work. And it's not the fact that I was ungrateful to go to work, but it was just like during those times, like when your family really needs you,
Yep.
when you have to be there.
Of course.
But then guess what? You have to go to your job because it's your job.
Exactly.
So essentially that's what happened to me. And to me, even though, you know, I had these critical incidents happen, I was like, damn, like something has to change.
How did you stay composed during all this mentally?
Whew. I guess you could say being in law enforcement actually built my character. My character of, I guess just keeping it all in, you could say. Yeah. Keeping it all in and just sucking it up, man. But eventually it crept up to me. It really
Everything would, you know, in
Yeah.
that situation for sure.
It really just crept up, and then eventually that's when I started, you know, like just saying like, I need to do something different. I actually, for the very first time, fell into deep depression, man.
Yeah, it happens.
Fell into deep depression, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was.
Do you feel like the law enforcement people run into that situation a lot and they don't understand what it is?
Oh, it's huge. Because once that happened to me, I actually had to ask for help from a coworker of mine. And I was just like, hey, bro, what's wrong with me? Like, at that year, I had just won Detective of the Year.
You had all these
Award-winning,
wins.
All these wins, dude.
Career's
Just
going good.
Career going good, everything. And then eventually, you know, there was days where I didn't want to get out of bed.
Yep.
I didn't want to get out. I was just like, what the hell
You
is
were like,
wrong?
for what?
Yeah. I was just like, what is wrong with me? And then, I started talking to a counselor. Counselor's like, hey, man, you know, we're
Was it get your
let's
head out of your
talk it
ass
off.
or was it something else?
No, that was actually my mom.
Right
She
on.
strong Latina woman, but she was just like, yeah, like,
They don't believe in depression.
oh, dude, and that's the thing, man.
They're like,
you
here's a
know?
soup, suck it up.
Literally, I remember, you know, going to my parents and telling my mom, I was just like, Mom, like,
I'm not feeling
I
good,
don't,
Mom.
I don't feel right. She's like, mijo, tú eres la policía. Like, nah, you're gonna bounce back. You'll be all right. But yeah, so that ended up happening, and essentially that's what started everything, man. So I remember having a deep conversation, just like this. We're having a deep conversation, right?
Yep.
So I had a deep conversation with one of my good friends from the police department, a little bit older, was with the department for about 15 years during that time. But the guy was always talking about this side hustle. And the side hustle, I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys are going to know what I'm about to say, but ATMs, automated teller machines.
Yep.
And essentially, I was listening to him for a solid year before I went back to him during this time, this time where, like, I was into depression. I had, like, this whole thing happen with my family, dude, and I was trying to figure out, like, what else to do. And essentially, I go and I was like, hey, man, did you actually start doing the whole ATM thing? And he's just like, no, man, you know, I'm still stuck. I'm still researching and all this stuff. So at that time, I didn't know that the guy was still stuck on analysis paralysis.
Yes.
Right. And I was just like, you know what, dude? I'm
going for it.
yeah, I'm just gonna do it. You know, so I went back to Humble Beginnings, man, and I started. You know, I threw on my suit, corporate America suit, and just went out there, closed 6 locations, and essentially, I thought I didn't need the help. Essentially, I was just like, you know what, dude? It's gonna be fine that I could go ahead and do this because I know sales.
Yeah.
I know sales.
Yeah.
And you have that confidence, right?
I'm charismatic.
So, yeah, I know how to talk to people. So why do I need to go buy a book off of it? Why do I need to go do a program? But I'm going to tell you something. I did myself a disservice. And the reason why I say I did myself a disservice is because half of my locations didn't do well whatsoever.
Okay, because you didn't pick the right locations.
I didn't pick the right locations. And this business is very simple. I always say anyone can figure this out. It really is very black and white. It's very old school. It's
So,
very
Paul,
simple.
yesterday I went to get my kids a haircut, right?
Yeah.
And I thought of you and Nick because I actually needed cash. No one rolls around with cash anymore. And guess what they had at the barbershop? An ATM
An
machine.
ATM.
That's the way it goes, man. I mean, I'm going to tell you something. The last time I was in Vegas, which is a great example, okay? Because Vegas has some of the highest fees I've ever seen, man.
Especially at the strip clubs.
Strip club, at the hotels. But we're talking about $15 to take out cash, right?
Yes.
And people just do it like that.
I know, they pay for it.
Yeah. And I mean,
You know what? They do it too to get cigarettes.
Really?
To people, you know, they got to get money from the ATM machine to buy cigarettes at a lot of these locations.
Yeah. No, absolutely, man. I mean, in California, the biggest the biggest driver for me in my accounts at liquor stores,
Liquor stores.
they can't use
To do
credit
lotto
cards.
or lotto tickets.
The lotto tickets,
Yeah.
man.
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
They put it right next to the lottery tickets.
Yep.
And then they go ahead and they force them to use the machine. And the owners, they know the game. That's just
Of
what
course,
it is, man.
of course.
But yeah, so half of my locations didn't do well. And I wasn't on social media for, at that time, close to 8 years. And the reason why, mainly because of the whole law enforcement thing.
Sure.
Okay. I knew when I was applying to be a cop at that time that they would look into social media. And you have to be very careful, especially
And
when
what
you're in
you
the background,
post. Yep.
because not only what you post, but also who you're associated with.
Yep.
Yep.
Because even if you have, like, let's say a family member or let's say a close friend, maybe even somebody you don't even know.
Of course.
And they're doing, I don't know, something shady or
Is
something.
your life
Yeah.
ever at risk by being so exposed?
Right now?
Yeah.
I would say
Well,
right
when
now?
you were a cop, you know.
A cop? No. And the reason why is because I was always low key. I was very low key. I wasn't on social media. After I became a cop, to be honest, man, like I really didn't associate with anyone who wasn't doing anything positive in life. And that's just the way I was. I had my head in the game, right? I took my job very seriously. I guess you could say that's why I was a 1%er in the department. I would be jumping to different units, different assignments, but then also I had that winning mentality
Exactly.
of like, hey man, I just want to focus. I want to just level up as I go. I thought, dude, to be honest with you, I thought right now I would probably be a lieutenant of the police.
Wow.
By this time. That was like, I had envisioned that in my mind.
And
I
look how
knew
things change.
Dude, it's crazy where life can take you, but I also believe that life's already written. I believe like things happen for a reason, man. And I always show this, and I always tell my folks that, like my employees, I always say like, hey, when either something good, something bad happens,
It's meant to be.
it's meant to be, bro. You know, just be solution driven. And that's the mentality that I tell not only my mentees, but I tell my coworkers, I tell my spouse, I tell my family. I've even changed the view of my mother, which was the hardest person to change the view of because she's old school, man. And she's not wrong.
That's
Like,
right. That's part of the reason I've done everything I've wanted to do, like go to dental school, open up dental practice, just to make my parents, especially, you know, my grandparents, happy for what I've accomplished.
Yeah.
You know, my goal is for them to be like, man, my nieto made it, you know?
Of course, bro. Of course. And I believe, you know, just like you said in the beginning, the American dream. I believe in what I like to believe in, the new American dream. And the new American dream is essentially being able to give the resources and the tools to regular folks.
Of
like
course.
us, bro. And to me, that I think that's powerful. It's more of the ripple effect. And I've learned this through investing
In
at
yourself.
higher level masterminds, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, in myself. We're talking about money that majority of people, they will look that like my old self would say like, how much did you invest to be around, you know, higher level thinkers? There's no way.
But you have to do it.
But you have to do it.
And I think people struggle with that. Like,
Yeah.
personal development is not a priority for anybody in life.
Yeah.
And you have to be around those kind of individuals to take you to that next level. And people just don't understand that. It's a bunch of hogwash. It's a bunch of whatever. And they just don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean, it comes back to the standard process of the school system. And not to back the school system, but when you really think about it, what has school really taught us as far as succeeding in life? I get it. Get your high school diploma. You know, you pass the standardized test. But what beyond that? What other resources is there for some kid that's just like, I want to be a business owner, to
Exactly.
go out there to their teachers and say, like, what classes could I take?
They don't have them.
They don't have
They
them,
don't have
bro.
it. Like, for example, Dennis graduated with $500,000 in student debt, right? And there's no business class on dentistry. But yet they want you to go out there and start opening up your own practice, dealing with profit and loss statements, growing your business. No marketing training. So it's the same. And I think the school system creates a lot of limiters in your subconscious mind that stops you from getting to the next level.
No, absolutely. And that's a great point. And to me, I mean, the key takeaway here is just like, they need to go back to the basics and the basics of how you can succeed if, let's say, you were to become a dentist. Okay, there, I feel like it's easier to get into hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt than them showing you actually how to make hundreds of thousands of dollars to
Absolutely.
actually wipe off that debt, right?
Absolutely.
But it's the exact same thing in the traditional school system. How is it fair that you could go ahead and apply to all these colleges, and then these colleges get to handpick who they want, and then on top of that, qualify you to charge you hundreds to $200,000 to $300,000 to get a certificate that you potentially might be able to make a living?
Exactly.
It's insane to me. But then the same folks, and this is not to rag on anybody because I used to be one of those folks, okay? Sure. I used to be one of those folks where I was just like, dude, I'm not paying that. How much do you want for a program? How much do you want for a consultation? BS. I'm not paying you that. Even lawyers, I'll be like, nah, dude, I ain't paying you for your hourly rate. But I'm going to tell you something right now. Look, you could take a Harvard graduation tuition, which is roughly starting at like $180,000. And then you could get someone who invests that same amount into someone who actually has built something successful for them.
Or bigger than you.
Or bigger. Guess what? More likely, that person who invested in that person who's already successful in what they're trying to do is going to give them that expedited process.
Yeah, you're going to be 100 folds of the guy that didn't.
It's going to be insane. And here's the key takeaway with this. You actually work with somebody who you want to be like.
Correct.
And that is really the cheat code to success. I've been able to work with some people that I've wanted to be like. And now I've either surpassed them, but then also I've been able to team up with them. And I'm a big believer in this one word, network.
Network.
Your network is your net worth because you don't know what doors the possibilities are going to open for you with the person that you meet. But not only that, the room that person might take you to.
And all it takes is one right meeting.
That's it. You know, we got here within 5 minutes. What were we talking about? We were talking about, hey, so this is the possibility you guys might do to create another offer within your guys' realm, your guys' industry. That right there could bring you potentially millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars very fast.
So for the listeners out there that are lost and don't know how to, because when I started building my personal brand, I had no clue. And that's why I had to hire experts, right? So what do you recommend to people that are trying to build their personal brand and their business model?
Yeah. So if you're right now, you're trying to build your personal brand, it's go back to the basics. So let's say, for example, the way I started things on the online space, I bought a $5 book, just like this, guys. And this book that I had bought, what was it? It was back in 2020. It was called Digital Millionaire by Dan Henry. And in this book, he actually just talked about his life. He talked about how he went from a struggling bar owner to going ahead and starting this multi-million-dollar digital marketing agency.
Amazing.
And to me at that time, dude, I'm really like, I wasn't a believer. I was just like, nah, this is false. But as I read the book, it gave you the value, it gave you the resources. And guys, I'm telling you right now, I'm not an avid reader whatsoever. So for me to read that book and to read it multiple times within a couple of days, it just tells you how powerful self-education is.
Full of tips.
So guess what? What ended up happening? I bought a $10,000 program that completely changed my life. I bought a $10,000 program that in the next 6 months, from April of 2020 to December of 2020, I was able to launch my first offer online with no following, with no prior education in the digital marketing space,
Wow.
with no education in personal branding, as a solopreneur, and it was able to make $5,000 within a 1 month, which to me, it broke my limiting beliefs when you think about this. In the online space, I already had a successful side hustle with ATMs. You know, at that time, I was making around $12,000 to $15,000.
When did you realize that you had to do them all simultaneously at the same time?
Brother, let's put it like this. Right now, we're in 2024. The world is changing.
Yeah.
If you're not on social media, you're not in business.
Yeah.
If you're not out there putting yourself out there, you're not in business. Closed mouths don't get fed. Some of the best entrepreneurs right now, when you see it in the online space, they're speakers. They speak their mind. They share their values. They're out there reaching out to their clientele and telling them, hey, I'm here. Because you could be the best in the game in any industry.
But if
no matter
nobody
what you
knows
do.
about you,
Exactly. If no one knows about you, guess what? No one's going to know about you. You could
Exactly.
be the best kept secret in this world. But you need to build your audience. You need to build your following. And even if you don't have a following, guess what? Social media has made the playing fields leveled for everybody.
I agree.
Think about it like that. Yesterday, or what was it? What was the Super Bowl? Yesterday, right?
Yesterday.
See, that's how you guys know I'm getting old. All right? But what I'm saying is, yesterday, Kanye West, he spent $7 million on a 30-second commercial. He made $21 million off of a selfie commercial. 30 seconds because of marketing, bro. Think about that. Now, you may not be able to be at that level when you first start off.
Of course.
But guess what? One 30-second selfie video of you explaining your niche, your value on social media with a couple hundred followers, you can make $10,000. And that's facts. And the reason why I know is because I've been there. Now, we just been able to expedite that. And once you learn the actual process, you can lose it all and you can gain it all. Again, very fast.
That's great. It's like my kids tell me, my kids are 7, 8, and 5, and they're like, Dad, we don't need to become a doctor like you. We can just become YouTubers. I'll be making more money.
Gamers.
I'm going to be buying you a Lamborghini by the time I'm 15.
Brother, they figured it out. They figured out life at 15, because I always tell kids nowadays, man, if I had social media back when I was like
21, 20.
18, 19, 20, I would have been a monster. Like, dude, I had to go through some rough times in my life to figure it out. But then, like I said, things happen for a reason. And once I went to social media, man, April 2020 to December of 2020, my first 5,000. Then in January of 2021, I basically refined my offer, which I wanted to help struggling and aspiring entrepreneurs start a simple side hustle with just ATMs, okay? And I remember at that time, my ex was just like, what are you doing? Like, you stupid? Like, no, that's for kids.
Look at it.
Like,
Look at him now.
like, what
Look
are you
at
gonna
him
be doing?
now.
Sending emojis? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? My mom's just like, my mom didn't comprehend this whole social media thing. I was just like, Mom, this is gonna be huge. She's like, but ya estás haciendo la máquina. You're already doing the ATMs and you're a detective. You're already busy. What are you doing? Wasting time. And to be honest, the number one thing that helped me out during this process, it was, I would say it was about 6 to 7 months of hell, okay? I would wake up at about 4 to 5 a.m. every day, 7 days out of the week. Take calls, okay, to serve clients on this program. And then I would go to the gym for 1 hour, and then I would start my shift at the
Oh, wow.
department.
So
At
you're still
about
doing
3
both jobs then?
I was doing both jobs
Wow.
at 3 p.m., man, and I wouldn't get out till about 1.
Wow.
So then I only had about 3 to 4 hours of sleep a day, and it had to be good sleep. It had to be
Yeah.
deep sleep. Otherwise, I'd be so done.
Exhausted.
The next day. Yeah. But I did that for 6-7 months. So during those 6-7 months, the transition was this. April 2020, bought the book, invested 10K into a program. December of 2020, made $5,000 off the online program. January 2021, 15. February of 2021, 20. And then March was
Explosive.
game changer. $130,000 cash collected, solopreneur, still detective, went back to work, and I was just like, should I still be here? Seriously, should I still be here? And I remember, and you guys are going to love this. One of my COOs, and he's actually a co-founder for one of my newest offers as well. It's a great story. He was a brand new sergeant of police. And I had told him, I was just like, hey, man, so this is what's going on with my life right now. And he was one of the first friends, really good friends. I was just like, hey, you should start your ATM thing when I told him about the ATM venture. And it happened, and it was successful. He was like, good job, bro. So when I told him about this whole digital marketing thing, he's just like, bro, how much did you make? I was just like, dude, like, I made $130K in just a month, bro. And he's just like, what type of shit? I was just like, once again, he told me, he's just like, are you stupid? Leave.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you doing here, bro? Go grow the business. Go grow the business. But I was just like, yeah, but my mom.
You had some self-doubt.
Everybody goes through self-doubt.
Yes, sir.
No matter how good you are.
Absolutely.
I even have self-doubt till this day, you know, but it's just at a different level. That's all it is. And when you go through entrepreneurship, here's the thing. It's a certain risk, but it's an educated risk.
Yep.
So you got to have some type of social proof that you could count on. You could say like, no, this works. This works because that's what's going to make you believe, right? And especially when everybody else doesn't see what you see. Because when you start your own business, when you start your own venture, it's your vision.
People think you're crazy.
People think you're crazy. People think that like, oh, here goes another entrepreneur.
Another adventure.
Another adventure. My mom would always tell me, why do you always change it up? Why do you always move? Why do you always buy a new house? Why do you do this? You know, she would always question my ways. And now she's like super grateful because she's able to travel the world. They got retired because of me. You know, they get their monthly allowance. They get to live life, man. Not only do I get to live life, but my parents get to live life. My family gets to live life. And I mean, that's my biggest why, you know, being able to take care of everybody around me. And even my new, you know, employees that I've met since I moved to Miami, you know, I take care of them. I show them my vision. I share with them my future plans, and they see it and they develop. And I love that. It's a ripple effect, bro.
Exactly.
Because you're not only changing your life, but you're changing the lives
Impacting
of
others.
so many people.
Which I'm sure right now that means a lot more to you.
It's huge. It's huge.
You do a lot of community service, a lot of outreach.
It's insane. It's almost like I'm a messenger, bro.
Exactly.
You know?
I don't think entrepreneurs start that way. I think that's a developed
Correct.
mindset of helping each other, helping other people. You know what I mean? It's more of, I want to make money. I want to do something for myself. And then it kind of develops into, man, I want to take care of this guy. I want to take care of that girl. I want to take care of this team. I want to take care of my family. I want to do all that stuff. Kind of develops, I think.
No, absolutely, man. And, you know, to get further in the story, you know, I learned that after my first year of leaving law enforcement and learning that, you know, material things wasn't going to fulfill me.
It didn't mean
It was.
something.
I had to buy the exotic car.
Yeah.
I had to.
You
live,
had to.
I had to live in the penthouse first. I had to get the Rolly. I had to experience it first to say like, I did it, right? But then ultimately, it doesn't make you happier, bro.
No, it
like it'll
doesn't.
make you happier for a few months, but then after that, it just fades.
Putting a smile on somebody else's face is way more impactful. Yeah.
It's huge.
Yep.
It's huge because my biggest flex is, you know, they're like, I always get asked this question, what's your biggest flex? And I was just like, my biggest flex I ever have is, number one, being able to retire my parents. Number two was being able to donate $100K to children that were like starving for Christmas.
That's incredible.
And then number three was being able to employ over 60 employees, but not only that, but also help their family.
Yeah.
Change the way they think. And that's, to me, that's everything, dude.
That's so impactful.
Yeah, it's huge.
And living a life with no walls.
Exactly.
Because right now you can just jump on a plane and go wherever you want, right?
literally that's what's happening, bro. And I had this conversation with my guys, and on the way over here, and I was just like, dude, I'm so tired of like the plane now. Like before it used to be a treat. It just was like, yes, I'm gonna go at the plane. I'm gonna get the little peanuts, just chill, But now it's just like, damn. I wish I could just teleport.
Of course, to go to all these different places,
to the
right?
different places.
So when you were in that point of 2021 and you made over 6 figures in 1 month, did you ever calculate that in your vision 3 months prior, or it was just explosive and you were like, how did I do this? Or did you believe during this process that you were going to get there and you created goals and held yourself accountable?
Brother, it wasn't until March of 2021 where it had to be an event in your life. And I think this is what happens to a lot of entrepreneurs, where it's an event in your life just like that just catches you from the side.
Yeah.
And you're just like, whoa, what just happened? And now you don't know how to react. You don't know how to react. And I didn't know how to react because at that time I was still trying to take advice from my mom. And my mom says, like, benefits, right? Like, don't leave your job.
401k.
And then
Health insurance, yeah.
Exactly.
Stuff, yeah.
And that one friend that was just like, hey, man, get out of here. And I put my 2 weeks. Everybody thought that I was going to leave the Bay Area to go be San Diego PD.
Okay.
they're like, oh, so you're just leaving our department to go to another department. What department are you going to? and here's the thing. People want you to do good, but they don't want you to do better.
Correct.
And essentially, that's a sad reality. That's what happens typically, right? So that's what happened to me. And I was just like, damn, like, you guys feel like that about me? Okay. But, yeah, so when that happened, I sold my house. Sold my house at that time, and it was a great time to sell. But sold my house, and I was just like, I just want to restart. I want to restart. So at that time, I told my lady, I was just like, hey, let's just move. Let's just go down to San Diego and figure it out. And that's what we did. Went to San Diego, literally moved everything within like a month, and got the best view in downtown San Diego next to Petco Park, and saw the ocean, was inspired every day. That first year, man, I finished a little bit over like 1.7 million in revenue on that business. But then not only that, here was my biggest pivotal move, okay? That same friend that told me, put in your 2 weeks.
You helped him.
Yes.
I was going to ask you if he's still your friend, because that's a good friend to inspire you to make the leap of faith.
Oh, that's so much more than that. And I'm a big believer that the people that help you and believe in you in the very beginning, you bring them up with you.
Yep.
Because you need those people, especially when you're growing. But you're growing at a very fast pace. Because there's going to be a lot of people now that you're getting their attention from them, and you don't know exactly who to trust.
And what their intentions are.
And what are their intentions, right? So at the end of the day, you need good people around your corner to protect you as well. So that same person, 4 months after I left and I was in San Diego, business was good. It was ramping up, push it to the limit. And I reached back out to him, and I was just like, hey, man, how's everything going being a sergeant of police over there? He's just like, oh, dude, it's control chaos in Oakland like usual. And I was just like, yeah, I can figure that. Hey, by the way, I would want to offer you a job. And you could just start off as entry level. You could be like an appointment setter, or and then jump to a consultant, and then ultimately operations. And he was just like, so what am I going to be doing? Sending emojis all day? Like, what exactly do I do?
You still don't know what I do yet?
Yeah, exactly. So I was just like, dude, I have to like break it down to you. So he thought about it for about a week, and he was like, all right, dude, I'm ready. And he jumped into the business. And within, I'm going to say 5 months, he was my chief operating officer. And dude, like I said, I'm more visionary. I'm more a startup guy. Until he came on board, I was running a multi-million-dollar business off of a payo sheet. You guys laugh. I'm being serious.
I'm laughing because you are serious about that.
I'm very serious, dude. Like, I remember having a whiteboard like that, and I would just write the names, and I'd be like, paid. And it would take so long, but that's just the way my thought process was. And I remember he's like, Paul, you're running a multi-million-dollar business and you got a payo sheet, bro? Yeah. What is wrong with you? And I was just like, hey, dude, like, I know how to start things
I just get the ideas.
I'm good at marketing, I'm visionary, but as far as just like operational-wise.
You be the ops guy.
Yeah,
right?
I was just like, nah. He was the ops guy, and essentially that's what happened. You know, he ended up being the ops guy, and it was the right fit. He was prior military. He was special ops.
So he had the
Sergeant
discipline.
He had the discipline, dude, and it was just perfect fit because we would take care of business, you know. And then ended up hiring our first consultant from Australia, 20-year-old kid, and I remember he had his Zoom call, his interview with me, and this is the power of social media. 20-year-old kid from Australia, very savvy. And I was just like, all right, dude, you're hired. And he's like, awesome. I was like, but here's the catch. You have 3 months to prove that you're going to be a solid salesperson for me. After those 3 months, if I want to keep you around, you're moving to San Diego. And he goes, okay. So he passes the probationary period. I jump on Zoom with his parents. He's like, hey, your son is a phenomenal consultant. I want him to move to San Diego so I could personally mentor him and grow him. The parents was like, well, how long has he been working for you? 3 months. He's like, and he's going to move from Australia to San Diego. Yes. Okay. He ends up moving to San Diego. The transition of having all three of us in San Diego was powerful.
Working together.
Yeah.
It was powerful. It was powerful because now you got to think about it. We're our own little mini task force, man. So we're in there with the same vision. We're driving each other. It's a great environment, man. And we're just living life. And we're like, man, let's help as many people as we can, make as much money as we can. Let's grow this thing. And in 2022, that was the biggest year we had.
Yeah.
In 2022, literally, revenue went from 1.7, and we pushed it all the way to the $12 million mark.
With 3 team members.
With 3 team members.
Amazing.
Lean and mean, dude. Lean and mean. And people are like, dude, you need so many employees to be 8-figure
Scalable.
business, scale this. That's old. That's
Yes.
out the door now. With social media, with digital marketing, I mean, dude, you
The
can
sky's the
build
limit.
a 9-figure business from home.
That's insane.
And I know people that are doing it. It's insane, you know? So the possibilities are there for anyone who wants it. And essentially, you know, that's what I'm trying to show people now. It's just like the fact that, look, take my situation. I didn't know what I wanted to do in life, man. I had to go and jump through certain careers, and then finally something critical in my life had to happen to force me to like be like, hey, let's think bigger here. You know, what do I really want in life?
And then you
Financial
made the
freedom.
change.
I made the change, but I was sort of like forced to make the change. For a lot of folks, you know, that's what has to happen. Something critical in your life has to happen in order for you.
Yes.
to
Why do you think
realize
that is? Why does it have to be some kind of like catastrophic thing? I don't want to say catastrophic, but I'll use catastrophic. Why does that happen?
I think it's because we like to stay comfortable, man. Yeah. It's like you got to think about it
Within
like
your comfort zone.
Yeah, within your comfort zone. We're creatures of habit when you think about it. And the way that right now society is, everything comes to you. Think about that.
Yeah.
Convenience.
Yep.
You know, we were just talking about the new Apple Vision goggles. Like, it's just like, okay, what's so special about these goggles that makes people want to spend thousands of dollars to obtain this? What convenience does it give you? Well, it gives you convenience that you could go to the coffee shop and you could still be working, you know? But in reality, do you really need that?
Just a brand.
It's just the brand. It's the brand name.
Yes.
You know, I got Emilio right here, and he'll tell you, he's like, dude, Apple sucks. I hate Apple. I was like, I love Apple
Android.
because it's simple, bro. I'm not a tech savvy person, so I use Apple all day. You know, but hey, man, it's the brand name, right? It's great marketing. They know what they're doing, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, to jump back into the whole venture with ATMs, man. So essentially, ATM together, been building it since January of 2021. And then towards the end of December of 2022, I get approached by a couple guys that are in merchant services. And essentially, merchant services is credit card terminals.
Okay.
They make the residuals off of the credit card processing fees. And to me, I always thought they were competitors, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, because they would go against cash and all
Okay.
that. So I was just like, yeah, I
I'm
don't
not
I don't know.
interested.
But I'll listen to you guys. And the reason why, like I always say, your network.
Yep.
So my ISO for my ATM business, okay, he was the independent sales organization. He provides the network for all the ATMs in my organization. He's the one that introed me to Rob and John. Rob and John, they have a company called Paybotics out of Los Angeles, California. And Paybotics, they are a decent size ISO. I say decent size because I'm pretty sure there's bigger ones, but I I've never met anybody that's generated over $170 million, bro.
Right.
So at the end of the day, they're
Right.
decent size to me.
They're
you
big,
know?
they're big.
But what do I know? I'm just an average guy here, just on a podcast, right? But with that being said, okay. So I meet them and they pitch me, and they're like, "Look, dude, we want you to essentially white label us. We want you to build an online program that will help thousands of entrepreneurs get into credit card processing." And I was just like, well, what makes you guys different? Because what would make people go to you guys instead of Bank of America,
Yeah, of
Chase,
course.
and Wells Fargo? Because that's the number one question people are going to ask me. They're like, Paul, this is great, and you're great at what you do.
But why should I go with
Why
you?
should we go with you? And they're like, great question, cash discount program. And I was like, okay, I'm listening. So the cash discount program is essentially this. As a business owner, majority of business owners in the United States, they're paying for credit card processing fees, either hundreds or thousands of dollars, as you guys know. And what this program does, it actually incentivizes merchants to go ahead and give their clients options. The options is essentially they're able to pay with cash for the either the service, the item that they're going to buy, or they could pay their own credit card processing fee. In return, this wipes out 100% of the fees for the actual merchant, okay? Now think about it like that. You're probably thinking, okay, first objection that we always get is, well, aren't we going to lose clients if we do that? Yes and no. It really depends on the business and the way you market it. Because in marketing, as you guys know, you guys are business owners, you're entrepreneurs, so you guys know that marketing, it's all about perspective.
Yep.
It's all about brand. It's all about who is marketing. Now in 2024, a lot of the larger companies, they're going more into personal brand. They're probably trying to find their avatar who they can market to, because that's what people buy. They buy off of the person, not the product anymore. So when majority of people, they come to me and they're like, well, what makes your product special? Well, you're going to be working with my organization. And with my organization, you're connected to my network. So what other network do you know within merchant services that you're going to get connected with 9-figure entrepreneurs that are personally going to train you? But guess what? If you were to get stuck on a sales call or you were to present this offer to a merchant, who else is going to pick up the phone for
And be able
you
to help you.
and be able to close it for you?
Yep.
And that's exactly what we do. We keep it very, very simple. So essentially, we give them you could say the advantage over the competitors, the advantage over any other company that offers the exact same thing. Now, with this concept, it's less than 5% of the business owners nationwide that are using this
That
concept.
offer this.
And when you think about it like that, you're like, that's interesting. Why? Well, think about it like this. If you guys were Wells Fargo, if you guys were Chase, if you guys were Bank of America, and you guys already had the business of hundreds of millions of businesses out there, you're already cash flowing off the credit card processing fees. Why would you guys be incentivized to switch them over to a program that's going to make you less money?
Doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. So this is where the smaller guys like us, we come in and we go ahead and we take advantage of that. That's the angle. So now you're presenting this offer, the cash discount program offer, to these merchants. They're wiping out all the fees. And think about it like this. Who's hurting the most right now in business?
Small businesses.
Small businesses, but particularly brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Because everything's going online.
Yep.
Everything's going online. So they're looking to save thousands of dollars. And it's an easy pitch.
Exactly.
It's extremely easy. But here is the number one thing that I always see that's very common when people start any business. It's very simple us articulating this, right? We break it down to black and white. They're like, man, this is awesome. Sounds too easy, right? And I always get this.
You've heard that before.
Too good to be true.
Too good to be true. It has to be a scam. Here's the thing, guys. The only reason why I'm able to articulate this the way I am is because I've done the reps. And that's what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
It is doing the reps. So anytime that we do get a mentee or a new client coming into our ecosystem, the first thing that we do is we qualify them. We qualify them now through stages within our program to make sure that they have the soft skills and the sales skills to actually go in there with the confidence to actually present this type of offer.
How many team members do you have now that are out in the fields?
So currently right now we have over 380. And that's since February of last year. when we
Amazing.
launched it. Yeah, it caught fire, man. I mean, this month in itself is going to be one of our biggest months that we've had. And here's a great side note. You guys remember that one friend that became the CEO of ATM
Yes.
Together?
Uh-huh.
Well, this is what I did. When I had to go launch the second company, Merchant Automation, I had told him, hey, man, look, you're doing great work, dude. Like, you're really doing great work. I want you to be a fractional CEO. I'm going to go away for about 3 months. He's like, where are you going? I was like, I'm going to go do this startup. But guess what? You're going to be co-founder, 50-50, dude. Like, I'm just not going to give you a percentage, but you're going to be a co-founder. And he's like, I want to incentivize you to work hard. And that's what he did. He was able to take ATM Together. At that time, we had across the threshold of 13 million, and he pushed it to 21 million, dude.
In what time period?
Within 3 years.
Amazing.
Amazing. Think about that. But then think about how powerful it is when you incentivize
Well, you empowered him.
good people, when you empower
Yeah.
them, how hard people are willing to work for you.
Yep.
You know, and that's not even his company, but he treats it like it's his company because
company.
I empowered him. You know, and it's the same thing with all my employees. I empower my employees to be the best version of
Yeah,
themselves.
you gave them the belief they probably didn't have or they needed.
You have to lead by example, man.
Yep.
You know, everything that I've done in my organization, I've done it. I'm not scared to roll up my sleeves and go to work. You know, that's the type of guy I am. I'm a blue collar guy. But with the second company, I told him, hey, man, you're going to be co-founder. I'm going to start this up. And once we got this rolling, you're going to come in as CEO. So the first year I got started up, man, we were able to collect $1 million cash collected in 5 weeks.
Wow.
I literally locked myself in my room, in my office at that time in San Diego. And I was just like, all right, I'm not getting out here unless I do like 40 calls with 40 different clients, literally, dude, like back to back to back. I was just like, oh my God, I can't do this. I'm getting old. And was able to do it. And the logistics was a nightmare. It was back to startup phases because you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know exactly what you need to do, but there's always going to be little hiccups here and there.
There's going to be hurdles.
And that's in business, every single business that you do, no matter how good you are.
Exactly.
Let me ask you a question. Yeah. So we all understand that, right?
Yeah.
But your team doesn't. You know what I mean? Team thinks everything needs to be perfect, 100%
From
every
day
single
one.
time, from day one.
You have it figured out. You're the CEO.
You're right. And they have struggles with, you know, kind of rolling with the punches, kind of, you know, having that kind of a mindset. How do you get through that with your team?
Storytelling.
Okay.
It's very big. I'm a big culture guy.
Okay.
Like right now, I'm telling you guys bits and pieces of my life. Number one, I'm very comfortable with who I am at this stage of the game.
That makes a difference.
As a person, you know, I'm very honest. I'm very open, and people can feel that.
You're transparent.
People can feel the energy, man.
Exactly.
And essentially, if you guys ever follow me, like on either my Instagram or when I do live trainings or when I talk from stage, I story tell all the time. And the reason why, think about it like this.
It's more relatable.
It's extremely relatable. But also, think about it like this. When you were growing up, with your mom and your
Are you
dad.
going to tell us a story right now?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's go.
When you were growing up with your mom and your dad, what would your mom and dad tell you when they were trying to teach you a lesson?
Past stories, examples.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I get it.
Lead by example. And that's what I learned. My parents, they led by example. They'd be like, do not do this because this is what happened in my life. Do not do this. And it will go through one ear and out the
Yes.
other. And then if you were hard-headed like me, you'd live a hard life. And essentially, like I said, I had to go through 3 careers before I finally was just like, all right, cool. I could be like a business owner, right? But that's just what it is, okay? So it's the exact same thing in entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I take the exact same concept and I storytell. But this also goes back to being able to do everything in your organization because guess what? The entry-level guy that's doing sales and is struggling and he's 21, right? We were all 21 at one time.
Yes.
I don't remember, but you guys probably were. Yeah, I get you.
Well, we all know what they're going through.
You can go and mentor them because you've been there.
Yeah, exactly. And you could be like, hey, man, this is what helped me when I was doing your job.
Yep.
You know, and they're like, whoa. Like,
You
I didn't
did
think
that?
about it.
They'll be like, you did that?
Yeah, and I'll still do it. And I'll tell them like this. You know, one of the main reasons why I decided on the second company, Merchant Automation, to go away from ATM together, because actually it was for two reasons. Number one, I wanted to brush on my skills. I wanted to make sure I still had it, to go ahead from humble beginnings, from doing a bootstrap business, and to go out there, market myself in a new niche that I barely had any experience on. And then two, to prove it to my sales team
That you're doing it.
that I was able to go in there and actually close deals.
Crush the numbers.
Crush numbers. So when I collected that $1 million in 5 weeks, guess what? We have a meeting, a big meeting with all the employees in the beginning of the month. Okay? That meeting, I was like, hey guys, I'm back. They're like, oh boss, you've been gone for a few months. Yeah, you know, just working on a little project. Hey guys, let me tell you guys. Hey, how are the leads coming in? How's you know, client acquisition coming in? How many closed deals do you guys have for the month? And people are like, oh, boss, you know, the marketing's not doing that well. The lead quality is not that good. Oh, man, you know, we're getting excuses left to right. Okay, guys, okay. Well, let me show you something real quick. I was like, I'm a little rusty in sales, but let me show you. And they're like, $1 million? I'm like, yeah, that's from the new offer.
Wow.
That I barely have the experience you guys have selling what you're selling right now. But why are people buying from me? Because I'm resonating with them. Majority of the time, there's two reasons why people will not buy from you.
They don't trust you?
That's one of them.
Yes.
But number two, they don't believe in your process.
And
And
in
that-
your product, yep.
Yep, in your product. So at the end of the day, if you have a phenomenal product, you have a phenomenal process, then the gap that you need to bridge is the trust between who is essentially talking to them from your company or you.
Your consumer, the consumer persona.
Correct. And that's a big pivotal move in business.
Yes.
What a lot of people, they bang their head. They're like, no, it has to be the funnel. No, it has to be the marketing. It has to be the ad dollars. We have to spend more money here, there, this. No.
Exactly.
Keep business simple. Go back to the foundations and just lead by example. So to answer your question earlier, it goes back to culture fit. Whenever we go and hire anyone, we want to make sure that they're going to get along not only with management, with the leadership, but they also have the same mentality.
Sure.
So that is the biggest key takeaway.
So you have a strenuous screening process.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We do. We structure it. I mean,
Do you do the interviews now, or do you have somebody else do them?
So it's a structured interview process. Typically, it's the CEOs. They do 2 interviews before they get to me.
Okay.
But by the time they get to me, it's just a conversation.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
I usually go and I throw them something wild, like, tell me a story. And they're like, what? A story of what? Just tell me a story. Because I want to see how well they articulate it. Because if they're able to articulate themselves very well, guess what? They're going to be able to build foundation with anyone. And that's what you need. You need soft skills in 2024.
100%.
The number one skill that anyone can learn that's watching this podcast right now is sales.
That's right.
Sales has helped me throughout my entire life. Sales has helped me become a 6-figure earner at the age of 22, buy my first condo. I mean, and this is coming from a college dropout.
Yep. My first job was sales too.
Exactly, man.
Here's the thing. That S word is a swear word in the dental industry right now, and we're trying to change that because it is invaluable.
Yeah.
And that's a definite skill that everybody needs in the dental office, in a DSO, period. You have to have sales.
Oh, yeah. No,
You have to.
Without a shadow of a doubt, man. You have to have sales. And when you think about it,
You're selling yourself every day.
Yep.
everyone is selling.
Yeah.
When you go to a doctor's appointment, guess
The way
what?
you dress, the way you present yourself, the way you articulate is a sale.
Yeah, it's all a sale. It's perception.
Correct.
Psychologically, people are evaluating you all the time.
Perception's reality.
Yeah, exactly. So when it comes down to it, we were able to grow Merchant Automation, okay, from startup in February of 2023 to now a multi-million-dollar company. Within 10 months, we collected over $4.5 million. This year, we're going to triple that. And the reason
Amazing.
why I say that is because of the actual number of employees that we have. When you don't have enough employees, man, you're restricting yourself.
Sure.
And that's exactly what's happening. We're having too many leads where we're essentially booked out weeks in advance, which is not a bad problem. But the hardest,
But it's still a problem.
it is a problem. It's a huge problem because we're leaving a lot of money on the table.
Of course.
Yes, sir.
But the hardest part that I learned in entrepreneurship, okay,
It's infrastructure.
infrastructure, but also hiring people.
Hiring the right people.
Oh my God, that is the hardest portion.
Human capital, man.
Brother, the hardest portion of entrepreneurship is hiring the right people because, as you know, investing the time is just investing like cash into a person, you know, and you have to train them and you have to groom them, you have to mentor them.
And then sometimes they leave you.
And sometimes they leave you. But that goes back to culture, right? Because if you have the strong culture, they respect you, they want to be like you, then guess what? They're not going to leave you.
So what is your definition? Because everyone talks about culture, but what is your definition of culture?
Yeah, culture is essentially, to me, is defined as an environment that someone can thrive in, okay? An environment that they actually see themselves in it for the longevity.
Okay.
An environment of growth, an environment of vision. It's essentially, like I said, it goes back to storytelling. I mean, storytelling is so powerful. If you guys ever listen to Steve Jobs, you go on YouTube right now, you ever listen to him? The
Yes, I have.
storytelling
Of
the
course.
entire time. That's all he's doing, man. And essentially, think about the concept of this. How many times have they came out with a new iPhone? Where are we at? iPhone 16 now?
I don't even know
Something
what it
like
is.
that with all these different models too, right?
Exactly, right? But you got to think about it
Sizes.
like this. What do they change on these phones every single year? Hardly anything. Maybe like
Correct.
a lens or something like
The
that. Right?
camera.
But if you guys look at the presentations back to back to back, they're telling you the exact same story. Hey guys, this is the greatest invention we've had this entire year. Let me present you the iPhone 18, right? But the exact same format. They're just presenting it with enthusiasm.
Exactly.
The story, the history, and that's what captivates people because people want to be part of something special, and that goes back to culture.
Yep.
Think about that. They want to be part of something special. So if you're sharing the vision that you have and you're able to articulate that to your team, to your tribe, dude, they will never leave you.
So at what point do you think an entrepreneur should start building a scalable model? At what point do you think they're ready to take the next step?
It comes and it depends on the entrepreneur because, like I said, I wouldn't have been able to build what I have built in the past 6 years if it wasn't for having the right key people. You know, if I never would have met my friend who's now a COO of one company and then a co-founder of the second company, who knows? I might have still been in law enforcement.
Then
because-
stuck.
just stuck. And maybe I would have been like, hey, you know what? This whole digital marketing thing is not worth it. I'm just going to stick with my ATM business on the side and still be a cop.
Exactly.
Who knows, right? So it's going to vary depending on what type of person you are and how far you want to scale. I know certain entrepreneurs that right now they're making multiple 8 figures a year and they could go to 9 figures, but they don't want to have that type of infrastructure because guess what? Now it goes into your personal life as well.
Correct.
You know, it dramatically changes. You have to go do certain things that you don't want to do, meaning that you have to invest more time into business. And it really depends on what fulfills you.
What your goals are.
Exactly. With me, I'm big on delegation right now. At this point in my life, man, yes, I am on the goal to doing 9 figures, but I want to do it in a scalable way where it is for longevity purposes. I just don't want to go in there and sell, and then people are not happy with the product.
Yep. Reviews are bad.
Reviews are bad. Fulfillment goes to crap. You know, that happens a lot of time, especially in the digital marketing space, man. And thank God we were in law enforcement because we do our due diligence. We we check everything, FTC, the SEC, everything, to make sure that we do it right.
Yep.
Because we want to be a transparent company. We want to do good business. And we want people to go ahead and refer to our family, their friends.
Exactly.
And bring in more business, good business, right? So when it comes down to it, man, that question, it could be answered depending on who you're asking. But for me, I would say on my terms, I'm looking to scale, I'm going to say my 3 businesses over the duration of my lifetime.
The next 10 or 20 years.
My 10, 20 years. But then also, you said it earlier, personal brand.
Personal brand.
And that's what I'm doubling down this year. You know, I wasn't doing the whole podcast thing. I wasn't doing, a lot of personal branding. I was more towards pushing my services and my experiences in those services.
Yeah.
But now, just like the conversation that we had, how you guys learned, like, dude, Paul went through some shit in order to get into
Yeah.
entrepreneurship.
Yep.
That's what I want to share more with folks. Because
So
that's
what do
what's
you
real.
think is your biggest, we're talking a lot about a lot of wins. What do you think was like the biggest like day that you were like, man, I wish this never happened to me running your business?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think it is
Like a big awakening.
a big awakening in business where I was just like, oh my God. You know what it is? It's the pressure that you put on yourself, because stress can kill you.
Yes.
Stress can kill you, man.
The
And I
masseuse
think
can kill you too. I just want to throw that out there.
What did he just say?
The masseuse can kill you too. I just want to throw that out there.
But what I could tell you guys is, I could say this with confidence, is that there's times where I put a lot of pressure on myself.
Yeah, I do
when
the
there's,
same.
There's no need to. And that's why I have learned that delegating your daily task is the best thing you could do for yourself.
But when you delegate, do you oversee it afterwards?
Here's the thing. I do.
Yes.
I do. But it's in a structured method where you're able to go ahead and you set a specific time to actually go ahead and oversee that. The thing is, I was very big on having my hand in everything.
In everything.
And I couldn't let go, especially when I was building my first online company. I had to be involved with the appointment setting. I had to be involved with
I'll
the
just do it
marketing.
myself. I'll just do it
I had to
myself.
be involved with the ads. They're not doing it good enough. We're missing cash flow because of this person.
Yep.
But here's the thing. You're going to drive yourself crazy.
Yeah.
You're going to drive yourself crazy.
And you don't develop your team.
And you don't develop your team. You don't develop who you are as either a visionary or
Correct.
an operations guy. You know, because you're going to have to pick either or. And with me, one thing that I did find out about myself is that I'm really good at marketing, but I suck in operations. You know, I'm not that great. So I really had to dive into you could say my pride and be like, all right, dude.
It's all you.
Yeah, I gotta give this to my COO. I gotta give this to my salesman.
Yeah.
I gotta give
Those
this
are
to
their
my
expertise.
CFO. They're the experts. This is why I
Exactly.
hired them, right? And I think that's what entrepreneurs have to learn, especially when they're scaling anywhere between a 6-figure to a 7-figure and then eventually an 8-figure. Because when you're at 8-figure business, you have to delegate all the tasks.
Yeah.
If you don't, it's going to be a very short-lived run.
You're going to have a lot of break points too.
Ooh, trust me. Like I said, stress is a killer, and that was one of the biggest breaking points. There was days, man, even probably like once or twice a year, where I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. It's not worth it. I'm
We
just
all
gonna
run
go
through
back
that.
to
Though. That's common, I think.
That happens to me like twice a
Yeah.
week.
Oh,
Twice a week.
dude, it happens. But then you have to think back, like, there's always good and bad with business and
Yeah.
what ends up happening, right? But essentially, yeah, man. So we're actually like doing very well with merchant automation. Very happy on the direction that we're going with. We're trying to expand to the rest of the United States. We're trying to open the market in Canada as well.
Oh, wow.
And if we could go ahead and go international with things, but with the governments in different countries,
Yeah, different
it is
regulations.
different regulations. So that's another monster that we're going to deal with. But first, we're tackling Canada. That's what we're working on right now.
Beautiful. And how do people find out more about you and your program and all that?
Yeah, absolutely. So first, due diligence. Instagram, Paul Alex.
Okay.
And then the two websites you guys could go to is atmtogether.com and then merchantautomation.com.
Awesome. Beautiful. I have one more question, and I know you've had a long travel here. My question to you is, if you're 20 to 25, what message would you send to our listeners about going out there and going on an adventure to build their own business?
Oh, yeah. I love answering this. So 21, 25, pick one niche, one thing that you want to focus on. Make that your primary focus for the next year to 3 years.
Okay.
And don't quit.
Don't quit.
And don't quit. The reason why I say this is because now that I have been in the online space, I've been exposed to all of the United States plus more.
Sure.
And what I can say is people are trying to do too many ventures at
the same time.
exact same time. Think of your mind as a pizza, okay? You've never heard anybody be ultra successful when you're only giving 25% of your mind to one thing. So you have to put 100% of your mind to one thing to really grow it and to actually expand and level up in it. And that's what I believe in. When people were telling me, hey, dude, ATMs is ancient, it's not going to work, I stuck with it. Look what happened.
And look what ended up
Transition.
happening. What about people, they're going to say, but Paul, I don't have capital.
Yeah.
to be able to start my business? How do I get it going?
And that's okay. One thing I tell people, look at my story. I worked at a 9-to-5. It's okay to still work a 9-to-5. It's okay to work a 9-to-5.
You don't quit right away and then start in. You know, you gotta build yourself up for that, right?
Exactly. And if you're not happy with, like, let's say your current salary, number one advice, get a sales job. Get a sales job where your commission is uncapped.
Yeah, limitless.
Get good at sales. Get good at soft skills. Build it up. Take that additional money that you have. Don't upgrade your lifestyle yet. But take that additional money, save it, and invest it in yourself. Every single business that I've had has been bootstrapped, meaning that I have invested my own funds into it. Never got investor money. You know, look where it's at now. We've generated across the board over $28 million across the businesses in the past 6 years.
Guys, if this is not inspiring, I don't know what is.
Yeah, amen. Amen to that. Amen to that.
So thank you, Paul. Thank you so much for making time and coming here and checking us out. It's been a pleasure. Hope you had fun today. Paul Alex, guys, check it out. This is his book, From Blue to Digital Gold, live stream with Dr. Alex Plains. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
If you like this episode, check out more of our previous episodes in live stream with Dr. Alex Plains. Subscribe below.